one of these big tables. Featured him earlier on and gave us a great show once more. Jackson, always see him at these tables. It's been at the international level, of course, the regional stage, and once again, back at it. So many of the juniors and seniors take his coaching, and you can see that not only does he do a great job of teaching the younger generation, but also showing them how it's done by getting to the table back to back.
Yeah, there's really no other way you should do it and then the way Jackson is doing it. Again, sitting up at the top of the leaderboards for a lot of the regions, and doing it with multiple decks too. Has been the biggest Charizard supporter in a while, but these past few tournaments has switched to this Marnie's Grimsnarl EX deck, and honestly, it seems like he's coaching the rest of the Masters as well with how popular this deck has been this weekend.
As long as it's a Stage 2 Dark type, he's got a chance. Maybe he's just waiting for some alternate arts to be released for Grimsnarl. It wasn't as flashy as he likes to typically be, you know? Here's the flash. He's back at it with some gold and a couple of those Dark Energies in the prize cards.
Dark Energies, Countercatcher for both of the players. Granted, there is a few copies of those in each of these lists. Nothing too bad, Kyle.
For Carson, I really like those prize cards. I don't think that's going to be much of a bother.
One of Monkey Dory maybe is the biggest thing in this matchup.
But hey, look at where it's at. Bottom of the prize cards along with the Lily's Termination. We are underway here in Asymmetric Cut in Orlando.
Double Dreepy start for Carson. Meanwhile, Jackson starting that ever-important Budu that has really kind of found its way to be a bigger inclusion into this Marnie's Grimsnarl deck, Kyle.
Truly is. It's the best of both worlds. Either you can go aggressive, nice and tall with the Marnie's Grimsnarl, or you go wide with this board. Use the Badu's Itchy Pollen and incorporate more of that Snorunt Frostlass later on to start to build up that damage with your Monkey Dory. Win the Monkey Dory war in some matchups, and you don't have to worry about much.
Pokepad has been a great addition for this deck as well from Ascended Heroes, but honestly, one that hasn't really been talked about a lot is that 70 HP Snorunt.
Oh yeah, it gets in there nice and chilly for the Snorunt. It's just been difficult for this Pokemon to find the board every once in a while, but now you have so much consistency built into this deck, and we see now Jackson with an ideal setup. Not only these 4 Pokemon on the bench, but the Lilies to boot.
8 brand new cards for Jackson. Has that Dark Energy on the Monkey Dory already to go along with the Badu in the active spot. Itchy Pollen is going to start wrecking havoc on Carson's setup, especially with nothing being played. No items from Carson's side of the board.
Yeah, you can only imagine what cards are waiting for Carson throughout the next few turns. That's when you typically will find all of those items if you didn't see them on the opening turn, and that is a beefy Badu with the Bravery Charm Edition. 50
extra HP. That means 80 HP and taking away your opponent's items. It's pretty good if I don't say so. And wow, Buddy popping off the top of the deck. Carson cannot use that now.
Yep.
It's a turn too late.
We've affectionately coined the Badu the Big Do as soon as it has the Bravery Charm, and it's not worried about Dragon Headbutt, which could be a problem in this matchup. You see there's already a Dracloak on the bench, Dracloak now in the active, and just an energy away from what would have been a knockout in this sense, and all these items would have been right back in play.
It seems like it has not been the best recon directive for Carson to start things off for his turn 2, and yeah, this hand only has a Hilda.
Hang on a second. I found a jamming tower, so you actually could get through Badu right now if you want to. Or is this just a fire energy Hilda?
That's crazy to think about, but you are right, Kyle. Jamming tower will shut off that Bravery Charm. Badu only having 30 HP, and that Dragon Headbutt, like you said, being able to take the knockout now. That's so much to commit, though.
Imagine, you find Hilda, the one card that searches out the best energy in existence of Neo Upper Energy, and it's time to just grab a fire energy because Dracloak needs to get busy. Yeah, there's some considerations here from Carson now of which is the right choice, and we'll slow things down with the Neo.
Take the turn off maybe and hope for a big Dragapult turn next turn with maybe a boss's orders off the 2 recon directives.
Yeah, it's tempting both ways. I can see if it just depends on how much that item means to you. But you can imagine a Buddy Poffin for next turn. If there's not a follow-up Badoo, it just puts a lot of pressure on your opponent.
And again, this is Carson's first deck search with that Hilda. So just taking a peek at what's prized. He's going to see that Monkey Dory in the prize cards, along with 2 Lily's Determination.
And the hand's pretty much on the table at this point from Carson. When Jackson sees you search out a Dusknoir with a Hilda, pretty much guarantees you're holding on to the Dragapult. So you can start to see how Jackson could map out this hand and likely identify no other supporter here if this was truly your best turn with a Hilda.
Even something like an Iono from Jackson can put those Dragapult on the bottom of the deck and just make it a little bit harder for Carson to find that play next turn. Carson did opt for that Neo upper energy, though, so playing it a little slow. We're not going to see the cool jamming tower Dragon Headbutt play.
Yeah, it does run into some issues if your opponent does happen to have that secret box, search out that rare candy, even an Arven. Just walking into the Marnie's Grimsnarl from your opponent here would be devastating. So decides to split things up. 2 threats on board. And hey, good choice. There's the box.
Such a powerful ace spec for not only Grimsnarl, but a lot of decks in this format, and it feels like it's been the top ace spec for a while now.
Yeah, it's just what it can do for a multitude of decks right now is you could skimp down on so many of these different lines and take advantage of these resources. Spike Myth Gym, it can be tricky. We saw players have to include 3 copies of this in the original build. Now you can limit those lists, go down to this 1 to 2 rare candies that we typically see, and as soon as you find that answer, you have a perfectly strong threat here with the Marnie's Grimsnarl, and this is exactly why Carson had to slow things down.
Marnie's Grimsnarl EX uses the Punk Up ability to be able to attach Dark Energy from the deck to any of your Marnie's Pokemon, and then Dark Energy for the turn on the second Monkey Dory, and the boss's orders found from that secret box. This is a great turn, Kyle.
Yeah, and this is speaking to mapping the hand from Jackson. If you are worried about the Dragapult, sure, use Iono. You could search that out with the secret box, and you're not worried. But he read that this hand was going nowhere fast. There's not even an energy this turn, and the Recon Directive has to pull a lot of weight here. It finds Iono. Okay.
Carson's going to be able to play the game now.
Well, let's see. Still a little nervous about how this could go, but Buddy Poffin thins out a little more, helps potentially rebuild this board state, but Counter Stadium, Dragapult, Prey.
There's the Hawlucha as well. Could take an extra prize off something like that Impidimp on the bench. Carson is going to start off with Buddy Poffin, though. Couple more Dreepy hitting the bench.
Rightfully so. The lifeline of this deck is Dracloak. Need that opening stage to get things rolling. And you're losing out on 1 Dracloak immediately as you evolve, but rightfully so. You have to move into the attack phase, get ready to go to battle with this Marnie's Grimsnarl. Still just that 1 energy off. Iono has to definitely make things happen.
And of course, it can't just be any energy. If you find a luminous energy, that's not going to work. You won't be able to use both of them. And so that means just the 2 Psychic and Fire are left for this Dragapult to try and attack.
Right, and that's why this deck plays cards like Hilda. You need to find the right energy at the right time, and this is just a draw 6, hoping to see the answer. Only 3 available copies, and there wasn't anything from Night Stretcher, I don't think.
Just the Neo upper in the discard.
Man.
Fez for 3.
Any help your last card?
No. Just a Jet Headbutt from the Dragapult EX maybe, but then you're just putting damage counters on your opponent's side of the board for Adrenabrain to start moving around.
Yeah, at some point past turn almost looks better.
I guess there's Counter Catcher.
Yeah. You would like to take a knockout on a Pokemon that maybe something like the Impidimp, so just so that you'd leave the damage counters off the board, just remove something. Just doesn't seem like a super viable option here.
Counter catcher, Carson choosing the Frostlass, maybe. Again, this is one of the ways people try to slow down Grimsnarl, is just bringing up Frostlass and hoping that there's not an energy to retreat. Maybe no air balloon thanks to that jamming tower.
And I'm pretty sure we saw the air balloon at some point, right?
Well, the Iono put it to the bottom if it was in the hand from the secret box.
Okay.
But energy in the hand for Jackson.
Wow.
Pokepad to find that more Grim to set up another Grimsnarl on the following turn and a Lily's Determination for 6. Pretty good Iono.
Doesn't get much better than that. The energy, it is hard to stick your opponent in the active spot with just an Iono to 5, but this is a nightmare situation for Carson now. Did not stick very much damage, actually bolstering the attack power with these Monkey Dories now can shift that damage back over, and you have to imagine that this is going to be an uphill climb for Dragapult now.
Never where you want to be with no Dracloak in play and just down a few energies. Retreat for Jackson, brings up that Grimsnarl EX.
Right back to work now. And now, are you worried about Frostlass at any point? Do you want to keep that out of range of a Phantom Dive? Or is preservation of Monkey Dory at some point going to be more impactful?
Jackson has the opportunity to take a knockout on a Dreepy this turn if he wants to.
I don't mind this here. Any time that your opponent's going to take out this Frostlass, there will be additional damage counters on board. Either the longevity of 320 hit points in the active spot there to start moving around with Monkey Dory. And then that also would just lead to more space for an additional Monkey Dory Dark Energy. Once you're moving 90 damage a turn, I don't think Dragapult figures it out.
This is also setting up just damage spreading across all those Dreepy for potential devolution play from Jackson in the following turns.
Right, you have a chance to switch up the strategy and go wide if your opponent doesn't remove that threat like the Frostlass, or if you continue to build up with these Monkey Dory. And for Carson, what's the comeback mechanism here? Do you commit an energy to a Pokemon that's already heavily damaged in the active? Or do you switch gears and start to attach energy to one of these damaged Cloak or Dreepy? It's a lose-lose situation.
And his Neo Upper is already gone, so you lose that kind of emergency energy that normally Dragapult is relying on.
We're talking about energy like there even is one. Still yet to be seen in this hand.
Couple Pokepad, but they're not doing too much here. Carson can find another Dracloak. Keep it rolling. Again, that Pheasantipity cannot use Flip the Script. There was no knockout last turn. Duskull found off the second Pokepad. Is it too late to kind of work in a Dusclops, Dusknoir line, or does Carson still have time?
It certainly could. The problem is when you're taking a look at where your opponent's already committed all of this damage, it seems like you're not going to have time without stalling a little longer. And with your opponent not removing the damage off of the Frostlass, if you did stall with Counter Catcher Badoo, you only have one more turn of that before the Frostlass is knocked out, and you can't buy any more turns than that, because every other Pokemon can move freely with either a retreat or the fact that Morgrem evolves and accelerates more energies.
And after thinning out the deck a little bit of Pokemon with the Pokepad, Carson finds Dragapult Dracloak off this Recon Directive. Not what he wants to see.
A lot to worry about here on Carson's side.
And look at that luminous energy in hand.
No. The decision has been made for you.
This is where that Monkey Dory would come in handy, but it's still stuck in the prize cards. Iono Boss's Orders are the two decisions for Carson in the hand.
Yep, checks the hand count. Jackson reveals pretty low hand size on the other side, but we've seen what he can do, especially after an Iono. And with all the damage on the board, it's not like Jackson jumped ahead in prize cards very much. There's still 5 cards to be drawn here off Iono now.
Where is the energy? Nothing found for Carson off this Iono yet again.
This is not a game you win with Jet Headbutt, I'll tell you that much.
There's not many games.
No, very rarely is it the right call, but now I see that Night Stretcher just mocking him once more. Still, there is no basic energy in this discard pile.
And that's the evolution that Dragapult EX Dusknoir has taken. It's all really kind of started with a bunch of basic energies, Crispins and all that stuff, but then everyone's like Luminous Energy just makes your mapping out so much better. You're able to use less energies and fit more stuff in the deck, but this is the one time where it's pretty detrimental.
Yeah, really asks you to take a risk that you don't love to take. Here it is. For Jackson, plenty of options now. You can remove the only threat on board, guaranteed no Phantom Dive coming on the future turns as long as this Pokemon's removed. But there's enough damage on the board to work in this TM Devolution. If you get that, you just win. Would be, what, 10 short if without an additional Monkey Dory? So, but could get very close and definitely would have no threat on board if that Pokemon were just a Dreepy with 6 damage counters on it. I think it's still a very viable option.
I think Jackson's only thing to really play around now is that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. Seems like the only attacker Carson has left.
I mean, even in this situation, with another Monkey Dory push, you can just clear both Pokemon in the active and the Dracloak and not worry about any devolution. You can just knock them all out.
It's a pretty good way to win the game.
And even in the perfect world where this Blood Moon Ursaluna comes into the active, KOs this Marnie's Grim, it's stuck in the active spot, it's not attacking the following turn, and Carson still has 4 more prize cards to take with this Pokemon. I think that is something that Jackson is okay with.
And again, players at home might be thinking, why not just concede, go to the next game? But this is Top Cut. We have a little bit more time for our players. And it's just under 60 minutes to go. Carson has the Ultra Ball. We'll be able to find Blood Moon Ursaluna EX.
That keeps you in this, but still a lot to worry about.
Seems like it's Blood Moon attached the energy to retreat and Iono. Jackson down to 1.
And just a simple Night Stretcher or Marnie's Grimsnarl would seal the deal. Enough damage on the board with that Frostlass, a tick of that with the season skill ability, along with 2 Monkey Dory and an attack for 180 from Marnie's Grimsnarl. We would see Blood Moon Ursaluna KO'd in between turns.
Oh, no energy for Carson on that Pheasantipity, but wow, there's some basic energies finally found.
Ah, just in time to use them to retreat. Yeah, that's not how you drew things up, but still hanging in here.
Now Carson's just flushed with energy. 2 Luminous, 2 Psychic energy.
Still a copy of that Latias if you want to work that in. Maybe these energies can go to a different spot. But what other attacker is there at this stage of the game?
Yeah, look at that discard, Kyle. A 4-3-2 Dragapult.
That's basically it. I mean, you're not getting very far. Is this Duskull as an attacker at some point? I mean, this is wild stuff. Yeah, dump it all. Probably just Latias, and you have all these energies to work with, but nowhere to put them. Wait, Latias is an attacker. Come on.
I mean, there is 2 Psychics.
There's 2 Psychics. Come on.
Looking at the list, too, there's no way to kind of reset the Blood Moon attack from Blood Moon Ursaluna. Usually we see something like Turo or not even in this deck, but like Switch just to be able to reset. And something like Curse Blast is able to do that. But with Jackson, just that 1 prize card.
Yeah, it's a...
Eon Blade, 200 damage.
Oh, sneaky Fez.
There is the Blood Moon for the knockout. Carson finally able to start taking prizes in this first game of Top Cut.
Big Do making his way to the front. damage already on board. And where is this Marnie's Grimsnarl? If it's to be found, that would close things out. Jackson doesn't look like he has much else going for him.
And at a certain point, does Adrenabrain just take over the game?
You'd think so. I mean, this is an item lock. There's no additional attacker to really incorporate at this spot. And the one big card that would save you in this instance would be a Professor Turo's scenario. It is not played in this list. And Jackson knows this. They got to take a look at the deck list before we were started here.
Yeah, and that's, again, a big thing that we've seen in these changes for Top Cut is that open deck list where there is no hiding what is in your deck or what is not in your deck.
Well, Carson still take his time, but 4 prizes remaining. What's the big threat at this stage? The Frostlass is building up the damage. Monkey Dories are shifting that damage back over.
Just
what, and you even
2 more
pressure
turns?
Monkey Dories at this stage.
Yeah, I don't think Carson's able to take 4 prizes before Jackson can win, let alone 2 prizes.
Just too much pressure. Even Monkey Dory Dark Energy here would get the job done, but the inevitable seems in place with 130 damage on that Pheasantipity. Shifting 60 over. Frostlass places it 10 damage away from a KO next turn, and Carson may just announce his own fate as he passes the turn.
First Adrenabrain moving that 30 over to the Pheasantipity EX on the bench. Second Adrenabrain from Jackson. Almost for sure going to the same place.
Yeah, you have all of the information. This Pokemon cannot save itself. 190 right now. There's the Monkey Dory, but the Dark Energy not to be found. I don't think it'll matter too much. Need to see that additional tick of damage to the other side of the board, and 10 HP away from a KO. Can Fez take one more knockout, a cruel arrow, just for the memes?
Would a cruel arrow be better, or just a blood moon on this big do?
I wanted to see Fez do something. It worked so hard to get to this point.
Again, players are just making sure everything is good with the damage from Frostlass, the damage from Itchy Pollen.
Yeah, I don't think the damage is correct on that Fez right now. That needs to be bumped up one more tick. Very impactful 10 damage to be considered.
200 damage on that Pheasantipity EX. If the Frostlass is not taken care of in between turns, Jackson will win.
Monkey Dory does have a say in this with the Luminous Energy now. You could shift over some of that damage on the Pheasantipity, stick around. But where does
Carson's fighting 2, potentially 3 Monkey Dory on the following turn.
Where does this damage go to where it doesn't fling right back over to this Pheasantipity? I don't see it. Jamming Tower with the Bravery Charm means you could place that damage on the active, and then your opponent would have to be very foolish to send up a Monkey Dory with a Dark Energy. Even then, I think Jackson would still just get there.
Carson is deep in the think tank, trying to figure out if there's a way to try to steal this game 1 out from Jackson's pretty stellar, like, just entire game 1.
Yeah, it's a really clean setup. Saw him go tall at the beginning, and we're nice and wide here. Bosses orders onto the Monkey Dory.
It is the one with the most damage.
So there is not a Pokemon that has 3 damage counters at the end of the turn this time around. See the KO on that Bidoof thanks to Jamming Tower.
Granted,
and this removes the Monkey Dory, so still a Dark Energy away from taking the KO onto the Pheasantipity.
Jackson promotes.
And this is an end of the turn. Yeah, the Frostlass tick just gets there.
Oh,
no,
that's right.
No worries. As Carson tried to make the impossible happen, but Jackson waiting at the door, trying to slam it shut and make his way towards top 8.
And honestly, that's the power of Marnie's Grimsnarl EX. We saw the Grimsnarl get knocked out, but then it was just Monkey Dory Frostlass able to carry the game through the finish line.
It's the same as Tord's strategy. Just throw two decks together and see what happens. Marnie's Grimsnarl feels like a deck in itself, and then you have the backup plan of Frostlass Monkey Dory that gets you the rest of the way. Let's take a look at how we got here to our Game 1 victor.
It was a quick pass of the turn from Carson after just attaching a Luminous, and then Jackson having a pretty stellar start with that Itchy Pollen. Then it went into a quick Marnie's Grimsnarl EX, taking knockout on that Neo Upper Energy Dracloak. Carson then unable to find an energy for multiple turns until we saw this crazy 4-prize turn with double Adrenabrain and that Marnie's Grimsnarl being able to Shadow Bullet for the knockout on all of the Dragapult and Dracloaks. And it was just Carson with a hope and a prayer, finally finding energy, having that Blood Moon Ursaluna, but it was a little too late. There was just enough damage built up on everything, and these Monkey Dory and Frostlass were able to seal the game.
Too many Luminous energy in the early, too many basic energy in the late. Carson, I don't know if your deck is very friendly with you right now, but we've seen you get this far so many times with Dragapult. Maybe one more set is in the books for you here. Looking for a good start. Not seeing it just yet. That's a mulligan.
Both players mulligan, actually. And again, Carson is 6-0 in Phase 2. Has been riding a hot streak all the way up until meeting up against Jackson Ford, one of the best players in the game right now.
Yeah, this is a great end boss to see on the other side of the table, and with no matches against Marnie's Grimsnarl this tournament, it only seems fitting that you'd have to work through one here to make it to the top 8. Carson has a lot to consider as this matchup goes, and we saw it in that opening game. Thought to go slow, not take that KO onto Badoo, and saw the rare candy play from Jackson on the other side. Knew that was a possibility. Do you take that consideration once more, or do you have to be a little more aggressive?
It was due to that secret box, just being able to find everything for Jackson, that rare candy, spike move, and the boss's orders.
We'll see if the prize cards have anything to say about that throughout this game. We have the fist bump. We are underway here. Jackson will start things off.
Snow Run in the active, up against Duskull for Carson. That is one thing we didn't really see in the first game from Carson, is that Duskull Dusknoir line being able to impact the game. It was just way too quick for him.
Well, I know there's a lot of shiny cards in this deck, but on the opening search, you look for that pink one. It won't be there this time. It's trickier to find with the way that this is built now. You only see those 2 copies of Arven, so searching out the secret box is typically not the way this works, but still seeing it in the prize cards doesn't make you feel great.
The secret box, along with that technical machine Devolution, 2 one-of copies that are pretty impactful in this matchup. The Marnie's Morgrim as well, that could come in to play, but having a Monkey Dory and Badoo, there's a lot of Pokemon in the prize cards for Jackson.
I'd argue that the TM Diva is in a pretty great spot.
True.
Typically, you'll find at least a prize or two. Your opponent using Curse Blast or working through some of these smaller Pokemon like a Badoo on the other side. You may find that at the right time. But for Jackson, it is a slower setup. Just a Pokepad to Badoo and Snorunt Energy go.
I do like just not retreating, making sure anything is possible. You're able to retreat on the next turn to that Badoo and start Itchy Palling. Carson, Ultra Ball, discards Dragapult and Duskull. Taking a look at the prize cards, got a Luminous in there and a 1/1 Dracloak.
Yeah, misses out on that at the top, but the real issue is if you see 2 of either of those copies in the prizes, so certainly manageable, but this hand doesn't seem very friendly for Carson. The Ultra Balls lead to a lot of discards that you're not super comfortable with, and I think there's considerations to not even use this second one at this point.
I think Carson agreed with you, because Lily's Determination, shuffling back that Ultra Ball, I think there was a Fez and an Iono as well. 2 cards that are pretty important as the game gets late.
Already committing to that Latias means you don't want to play down Fezandipity at any time soon. And this is so important to setting up the item lock. Your opponent played this one item and set up a very weak board. If you have a chance to play down Badoo, use Itchy Pollen, you need to capitalize on that play, and looks like that should be an option now with the Buddy Puffin found, but
it's the only thing that Carson drew off those 8 cards.
Yeah, I mean, missed Energy, missed Cloak, missed it all. There's not even a supporter for next turn other than Boss. A real supporter for next turn.
Buddy Puffin is going to find a single Dreepy and Badoo for Carson. And thanks to that Latias EX search before the Lily's termination, Carson does have that retreat to Itchy Pollen. I guess the one benefit is Jackson did not bench any Munkidori, any Impidimp, really is just relying on that Badoo himself.
There is no additional damage to come down anytime soon. Just 10 from this Itchy Pollen, and Jackson does find some help, but Carson's probably going, you know what, thanks, because my hand was trash.
Yeah, the good old triple Iono hand for Jackson there. Not really much of a choice in that supporter for the turn.
Oh, boy. Did you see Carson's hand to go along with this?
Yeah, I think he wants the other... Oh, wait, Carson's no.
Well, Carson's got a pile of items, and that's a Badoo, a big do, with a Bravery Charm, ready to go.
Frostlass evolved to the active spot as well to start ticking up that damage. Look, I was looking at Jackson's hand, and it wasn't that great either.
We're in for a theme deck war at this point. Unless this top deck has something to say for it, I didn't see a Dracloak or anything to go along with this just yet. Jamming Tower, all right, the Badoos are on even footing. I don't think that's really what matters here. This hand goes nowhere.
There is a Dusclops in the hand for Carson, and at least an energy for the turn with that Luminous on Dreepy. Jamming Tower will turn off that Bravery Charm, which means Curse Blast could take a knockout on Badoo if Carson
You can
wants.
go fishing for the Iono, the 1 in 6. Are you feeling lucky, Carson? It's actually closer than we think. Does he find it?
Oh, taking away the prizes, keeping us in suspense.
I don't know.
It was the
Luminous. And what does Jackson see on the other side? The TM Devo.
Is it at the right time now, Kyle?
I take it back. The great part about this for Carson is he removed Big Do. There is no Badoo for next turn. Maybe the items come back into play. And if you are item locking and your opponent does not, certainly the advantage leans your way.
One thing that was missing from Jackson's hand last turn was an energy attachment. Already had the one on that Frostlass to be able to retreat from the first turn. And something like this Arven would normally help getting that Night Stretcher to find that dark energy, but Itchy Pollen has something to say about it.
Insult to injury as you search out a few more cards that aren't impactful to this board, and Carson just does not want to see an energy at this point. A Mind Bend, or an Adrenabrain right here would really slow things down, and it's not there. This hand goes nowhere. Wow.
Passing the turn back. At this point, Jackson's own Frostlass is helping out Carson.
Yeah, this is how Carson built the deck, right? you just let your opponent start doing the work for you. Itchy Pollen right back the other way. And look at these resources with the Ultra Ball, Buddy Puffin, and Pokepad. Expect to see at least one Dracloak and a few more waiting in the wings.
Carson starting off with the Pokepad, being able to get as much information as possible, get that Dracloak out so you can recon Directive.
Such a dangerous Pokemon. I know you keep a couple on your shoulders at all times, but Badoo, just dominating.
It's a powerhouse. I've been saying it.
He's just a little guy, but he does so much work.
Item lock is that good, Kyle.
See now for Carson, what are the other considerations here? The early Duskull discard now with the Cursed Blast means you don't have that avenue to go down. Just one Dreepy to work with here. And this is not typical of your Dragapult player to see a
I think
thin
there's a
board.
Dreepy in hand.
There it is. Okay, so that helps a little bit.
Recon Directive, Boss's orders, Fire Energy.
And this sets up for some game-closing plays, as the energy was not there just yet. Now the Dracloak, eventual Dragapult has access to a Phantom Dive, but maybe you need to
dodge one more turn of anything from Jackson.
Yep. Will take the fire this time around. And there's just so many good draws for Carson in these future turns that could close this out.
So many good draws, but none of them in hand, other than that Ultra Ball for the Dragapult. Itchy Pollen, Frost Blast damage, makes 60 damage on that Monkey Dory.
Oh, hang on. We're not done yet. And even though the TM Devo doesn't feel like a great play, it does slow things down and buy you one additional turn. Is that really all Jackson needs now with that top deck Iono?
Well, no, he's going to need a Spike Mooth gem as well to bump that jamming tower.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
And no Stadium found, but a Dark Energy was. Still no item cards available for Jackson, but can at least start doing something with Adrenabrain.
If the play were to remove Badoo, go fishing in those prize cards, but we know the answer is not waiting there.
And honestly, this Iono probably helped Carson as well. Oh no. Seems like the judges are stopping the game.
6 off Iono. Didn't see who it was, but seems like it didn't feel like the prize card was taken for one of our players, as you didn't really earn it, as the Dusclops using Curse Blast, and then just got ahead of himself here for Carson.
Thankfully, it is easily rewindable, but would end up with a double prize card penalty.
Yeah, it's unfortunate seeing that additional card. It affects where we're at in the game right now. Both players see the card revealed. Blood Moon Ursaluna, super impactful card right now. I'm trolling. And that is the DPL here. Jackson only needs a few more prize cards to move to the top 8. And this is definitely the time where you need that.
Yeah, I don't know if it affects the game as much, especially if there's something like a Dragapult with maybe like a boss's orders, but Adrenabrain taking a knockout on the Badoo for Jackson, heals up that Monkey Dory to just 80 damage left now, but Marnie's Morgrim found a first Impidimp of the game for Jackson.
If that Latios is ever KO'd, this game ends. Jackson, just 2 prize cards remaining to seal the deal. Pressure back on. No Badoo in play, but items available for both players. Carson has got a good Pokemon in the active spot to work with. Can certainly turn this into Dragapult attacking through, but maybe a Hawlucha in combination with this could really put some pressure on.
Pokepad can find Hawlucha, but Carson is opting for the extra draw power in a third Dracloak. Neo Upper Energy as well. And a Lily's Determination to go on top. So 6 cards for Carson.
Not 8.
Plus a couple, 2 recon directives. Is that one used already, or
no? There's two directives, so it will get to 8. But yeah, just the
9 even
with the prize card. Oh yeah, well, he evolved it, but didn't use the ability yet. Yeah, plenty of resources to be seen now. Even potential for Pheasantipity if you really need to dig deep.
Hawlucha.
Okay.
But no Dragapult or way to get it found. Recon Directive number 1, Iono or Monkey Dory. Iono for next turn. Another Recon Directive, 2 supporters that cannot be played.
Oh no, yeah. Really would want to see capitalize here.
Ultra Ball.
Oh, okay.
Carson is now able to go into that Dragapult EX thanks to the very last card found off of the very last chance of Recon Directive.
Yeah, the hopes were high when you see Pheasantipity, and then the next card is Ultra Ball, even better. Just the guarantee. Throws away some pretty useless cards here in what is the Dusknoir line. I don't think you have time for that anymore after seeing those 2 prize cards handed over to Jackson. And It will have to be on the back of this Dragapult to get things done.
I think the important part is also finding the Hawlucha to be able to take out that Marnie's Impidimp on the bench.
It was the next card?
Oh, the Dragapult?
The Hawlucha.
No, it's in the hand.
Oh, okay, good. I was wait a second. Well, thankfully, has that resource ready to go now. And, I mean, that's the real pressure points is if you do not let your opponent go wide.
Oh, just counter catcher. Bring up that Impidimp.
This allows you to save the Hawlucha for the next round of Impidimp. And the Monkey Dory would be cleared by the Frostlass.
That is true.
Sneaky, sneaky.
It is also putting a low HP Pokemon with an ability into play.
And this air balloon is not active. Frostlass is stuck because of Jamming Tower. Jackson needs some help here.
How about a Spike Move?
That is some help.
But, ooh, this hand is not helping at all.
That is not helpful. This goes nowhere. And that is a Dragapult EX on the other side. It doesn't matter how many prize cards you don't have to take if you can't set up.
Again, looking at when I got a glimpse of Jackson's hand, it looked like 2 Marnie's Grimsnarl and then, counter catcher. Bringing up that Dracloak, hoping to buy a turn.
Wow, the energy and the Hawlucha seals the deal. And Carson makes his way through that awkward game number 2 and finds himself here with one more game to potentially get into the top 8, take down Jackson Ford, take down his first Marnie's Grimsnarl of the tournament. Is it in the cards for him?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Kyle. Carson's going to definitely count how many cards he's drawing for this game 3.
Yep. It's counterintuitive to look over to that side of the table and check your prize cards, as typically they're in eyesight for you. That eye line of being on the other side of the table, it's a little different when you're playing at this big stage, and sometimes it just catches you off guard. Don't remember you took that prize.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay for our second game here in Asymmetrical Top Cut. Now, it started off just with a quick Badoo back and forth for both players, but then able to take the control of the game. Carson just item locking the hand of Jackson Ford. There was the Iono extra card drawn, but it did not matter as Dragapult EX was able to clear the board time and time again like it normally does with Phantom Dive, and then Jackson last-ditch effort to be able to counter-capture that Dracloak, but the energy and Hawlucha able to close things out for Carson in game 2.
Plenty of time here for a great match.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Jackson wants to go second, and rightfully so. We've seen how important that Badoo can be, and that one big turn of items with your supporter as well. Can Jackson capitalize on this opportunity?
Well, Kyle, we have a game 3 here for our top cut in Orlando, and Carson starting off with a Badoo, Dreepy Duskull, but no items, has to pass the turn. The hand has a Hilda and not much else. Meanwhile, Jackson, Monkey Dory in the active, Dark Energy with a Badoo, and is going to help out Carson with that Iono.
Carson did have access to Dracloak with that Hilda, but there's always a chance you find something a little better or something terribly worse. Oh boy. Well, these prize cards are kind of scary for Jackson, at least, to see all those energies.
There is 9 total in the list, so still having a few darks to work with, but
oh my
scary.
Gosh,
and discarding one with the secret box. But this will allow Jackson to fully set up these Impidimps, which he was sorely missing game 2.
I mean, quite the discard to see, but this leads to preservation of that dark energy on the Monkey Dory, so not too worried about that for Jackson. He still will have Punk up at a later stage of the game to find some energies, but as far as other Monkey Dories seeing dark energies, yeah, that could be very tricky.
Buddy Poffin grabs Snorunt and that Impidimp. Jackson has Spike Move, but with the jamming towers available for Carson, maybe even trying to conserve it this turn, just to guarantee the Grimsnarl next turn.
I mean, I want to get into the semantics of what could happen here, but have you seen Carson's hand?
No, I have not.
It's truly unplayable.
Oh, no.
There's nothing to work with. The item lock could be so dismantling. I think he saw a pile of energies. And look at where you can place these energies. It's not pretty.
I mean, unless they're like nice looking energy.
They are pretty. Yeah. There is a Neo upper energy there, but it won't translate well. And that is item lock on turn 1. Jackson doing exactly what he wants to see. And that Pokemon doesn't help. Go ahead. Make something of that.
You are completely right. Double Buddy Poffin. 3 energies, another Badoo, and a Dragapult EX. Not even a Dracloak to try and draw out of this.
Nightmare scenario. There's nowhere to go with this. That Hilda would have been so helpful. Instead, this Iono completely ruined this for Carson. And the one benefit is you don't yet see a way to add additional damage counters. No Frostlass, but if that Pokemon's found here off this Lily's determination, I think we're going to be packing it away for Carson here pretty shortly.
8 cards for Jackson. Frostlass would be amazing with these Monkey Dories on the bench.
And still, just time, a big factor here for Jackson, because he will buy so many turns now. The Spikemouth Gym can slowly piece together a Marnie's Grimsnarl, and that one Pokemon could easily clear this board away. Already finding those pieces, finds the Dark Energy, which we thought could be impossible, and there's just so much working for him here. Jackson has the answers built into his hand now.
Is there that Frostlass?
Did not see that piece, so for Carson, that buys you a little more time, but it is ticking.
Thankfully, there's 32 minutes left in this match.
Talking about turn time.
Adrenabrain, 10 damage over to that Dreepy, and another Itchy Pollen for Jackson. Carson, what can you do for us?
Or yourself? Not much. It's a Duskull.
Oh, no.
And for Jackson, you could always just take that prize card, but then you walk into issues with Pheasantipity or other Pokemon. You just can't risk anything here. Wise to place that damage counter onto the Dreepy and bide your time.
Well, Jackson's saying, welcome to Masters, Carson. This is how it's done.
Oh, brutal stuff here, a Spikemouth Gym. This is the evolution. Marnie's Grimsnarl searching out what? The last energies of the deck now? They're all gone at this stage. But he's got enough with the energy in hand, too. Can even throw down one more. It's kind of risky. If a Frostlass ever gets stuck in the active, I think you'd still win with Monkey Dory damage. But item lock would be broken.
A second Lily's Determination for Jackson. 8 more cards. Just an embarrassment of riches for Jackson. Meanwhile, Carson can't even buy a good card off the top of the deck.
Yeah, honestly, probably need to use Spikemouth Gym and shuffle so that Hilda could go to the top of the deck or something. You just need to do something here.
That's the thing, though. The Hilda was the only good card in that hand that was put to the bottom as well.
Maybe just a change of fate, something. Because it doesn't seem like the top of the deck wants to help out now.
10 damage going over to the Duskull now on the bench. Jackson had the opportunity to take the knockout on the Badoo with the Adrenabrain, but why not just take a knockout with Itchy Pollen?
Finds the Dark Energy out of the
Iono off the top of the deck for Carson. Hey. Are we going to have a game here, Kyle?
Still asking a lot, but the lack of Frostlass really changes things. With no damage on those Monkey Dory, there's a chance that a Dracloak here could survive an additional turn.
How about a bunch of item cards for Carson?
That is gross.
What is going on here?
Just put the hand down at this point.
Maybe the Spikemouth needed to shuffle the deck because this is awful.
Yeah, you cannot do anything with this hand. And Jackson preemptively placing the damage. Says, please just use Itchy Pollen. Don't set up anything. And wow, there's the Frostlass. All right. Is there anything else?
Second Marnie's Grimsnarl. And finding that energy that was found off the prize cards now. Everything is fully powered up.
game-closing cards at this point would be see a boss's orders onto that Dreepy. Don't see that just yet, but still so much pressure here with this board. And Badoo doing its job.
Dragapult EX, that does not do it, Kyle.
No, and you see boss's orders. You can bring up that Frostlass. All the energies are gone. This Pokemon is technically locked in the active. Item lock will be broken, but Jackson doesn't care. The damage that can be placed now from these Monkey Dory is enough to really put some pressure on.
Is still, what, 10 damage short from taking the knockout on the Dreepy on the bench with just Adrenabrain?
Yeah, and this does break item lock, so it's certainly the correct call.
Oh, there's Night Stretcher in the hand, Kyle.
Oh, boy.
There's a Dark Energy in the discard.
Well, there's a Badoo that used item Itchy Pollen.
Oh, that's right.
Well, a prize card taken, fishing for one of those energies. 40% chance to steal that and continue the Itchy Pollen lock, but maybe a little preemptive with that second Marnie's Grimsnarl and energy. We'll see the pressure put onto the Dreepy, and rightfully so. If this Pokemon evolves at any stage, it will be KO'd instantly.
All right, Carson, your hand of 6 items will now be available to you.
The turn is bought. What can you do with it?
It's a scary board to sit against.
This doesn't feel like something you can come back from, but if you could make it happen, Badoo, Itchy Pollen, locking out Night Stretcher, a Monkey Dory of your own, pushing damage over. Maybe at some point you find enough damage to pressure something, but you're losing the Monkey Dory war. How do you make this happen? A question that Carson continues to try to answer time and time again.
Cloak found off the Pokepad. This will unlock at least one Recon Directive. There's another Pokepad and a couple Buddy Poffin in that hand at least.
You could start to build a board with this. But what's the avenue to victory? The moment that Frostlass is moved from the active spot, you're either facing the full force of Marnie's Grimsnarl or right back into Itchy Pollen lock.
And this Dracloak is just getting KO'd next turn with double Adrenabrain.
Even single Adrenabrain with
true.
Frostlass. The game's almost closed out here without some additional Pokemon placed down. Marnie's Grimsnarl would call game if Itchy Pollen isn't played this turn.
Debating on that Recon Directive. Countercatcher was the card found.
Yeah, which Pokemon do you bring up here?
The Frostlass again?
Well, there's not a great answer. Yeah. Doesn't all line up.
This has to find Monkey Dory. There's a Luminous Energy in hand. Just Carson needs some way to keep that Dracloak sticking around for at least one more turn.
Even then, you remove 3 damage counters. Frostlass ticks that back up to 2. 2 Monkey Dories brings that to 8, and you are KO'd between turns from Frostlass.
I mean, you got to play to your outs. Maybe Adrenabrain just doesn't happen, you know?
Maybe Jackson is tempted to use Adrenabrain on Duskull. Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
You have to see what could happen here. Carson will try his best to stick around here, save these energies that Neo Upper. We know how crucial that can be. It was played early in both the impactful games, and if you lose that card, it is so easy for Jackson to just hunt down whatever Pokemon takes energies throughout the rest of the game with the help of this Monkey Dory.
Three damage going to the Monkey Dory with the air balloon on the bench. It's going to put it to 4. Does Carson have a way to continue the item lock? Already attached an energy for a turn that would require Latias EX to get worked into the mix.
Yeah, and I don't see Ultra Ball right now. That Pokemon is sitting in the deck. You just see it on Carson's face at this point. Continual head shaking, just wondering, how did we get here? How do you have the best board I've ever seen? And why are there 4 more of you waiting in top cut?
It really is a crazy top cut with 5 Marnie's Grimsnarl EX. It just goes to show the power of Badoo, Frostlass, Monkey Dory. We saw it in Houston with our top cut being a few of the just Frostlass, Monkey Dory, Badoo, and Grimsnarl is really just taking it and running with it.
Yeah, just gives this deck a whole new element, the energy acceleration, the amount of hit points. Yes, Mega Frostlass can do some different strategies, but it can be played around. This is just a massive spot here. There's no item lock. Night Stretcher, energy. This Frostlass is mobile once more. There's no pressure on you. If you want to take the knockout on the Dracloak and use the Marnie's Grimsnarl, you can. You could go right back into Itchy Pollen, lock up this Duskull, and just move 6 damage counters onto Dracloak. And I think that has to be the strategy at this point. It's just so easy to rely on Badoo here.
Another Monkey Dory found for Jackson off that Pokepad. The bench is a little full, though.
I don't think that works, yeah. But just still needs to reflect this Pokemon. It's going to the hand. All right. Oh, feeling greedy? Hang on a second, Jackson.
Shadow Bullet time?
This Pokemon can work in. I mean, there is no rare candy on the other side. What items are you really afraid of, I suppose?
Yeah. First, Adrenabrain. 30 onto the Dracloak. With 50 left and that Frostlass, Shadow Bullet will be enough to take the knockout in between turns.
Love this here. You can just throw the rest of the damage onto the Dracloak. And then if you don't want to leave additional damage counters for Monkey Dory, you could attack into the Dracloak, but does not mind seeing some damage counters on the board. Will give Monkey Dory a little more fodder with the damage onto the Dreepy, it looked like.
But again, at what point does this matter for Carson?
Yeah, I mean, the pressure will continue to stay on the Dracloak. Anytime this Pokemon's in play, Monkey Dory, and Marnie's Grimsnarl will find at least 90 damage to place at any point in time.
Card for Carson. Wow. Boss's orders off the top.
Now, Jackson is a little susceptible to a Mind Bend in a spot like this. We don't see the energy right now, and I swear if we see that luminous energy, I'm going to scream. But it's not there.
Recon Directive. Yeah, looking at just more Pokemon for Carson. This has not been the way he has wanted this Game 3 to go. The Lucha found Boss's orders, but no item lock yet again.
And this is wild on the other side, as Jackson took those prize cards, but 2 energies still remain. If item lock were available, this could have really locked it up, but no, you see the energy in the Night Stretcher, and we now have Jackson Ford moving towards the top 8 once more.
And just like that, still proving that